Hey there, Mustangs fans. Josh Rubin here, voice of the Peoria Mustangs. A new episode of Around the Stable Coaches Show. As you can see, joined by one Mr. Blake Ortman. Blake, thank you for taking a little bit of time. Busy week, but thank you for taking a little bit of time to join us here on Around the Stable.
No, thank you, Josh. I love coming on here. So yeah, definitely a busy week, but it'll be worth it here in the end. And it's kind of all of our hard work coming together here. So should be a good week.
So as we mentioned, busy week at the Owen Center, probably at the Ortman household, probably at the Trudell household, probably at the Rui household. Everybody a busy week as training camp, main camp opening up this Friday evening at the Owen Center. That information has been posted on social media. It'll also be on this video. So Blake, first things first, with pre-registration, how many young men are going to be attending Mustangs main camp this season?
We should be right at about 50, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. You never know. A lot of times people back out at the last second or a couple randoms show up. So we're looking at about pretty much 3 teams this year. So we're pretty excited to have a lot of competition this year, and it should keep the competitive juices flowing throughout camp.
So having 50 or a little above, maybe a couple less, how hard is that from a coaching standpoint with you and Ort and Clint and Guy keeping eyes on everybody so you can get the ingredients that are needed to win games?
I think that's actually just a huge bonus having all those eyes. I mean, we talk a ton about who we're looking at and stuff throughout camp, and it's kind of nice too because we always like to have at least one coach on each bench, so we'll have one of those, and then I like to kind of do my own thing, and I'll be probably sitting it up on a balcony somewhere by myself, and it's always nice to have all 4 eyes on it because there's 4 different hockey minds coming together, and then after each game we kind of just come together and put everything on the board and see what we all have. And I mean, a lot of times we're pretty similar in our opinions on players and stuff, so it all comes together. But then there is a couple heated battles that'll probably happen over a kid or two, but I think it's definitely a huge advantage to have all those hockey minds kind of coming together and watching these players and kind of piecing them together on your team.
Now, with training camp and today's technology, you have hockey TV, you have multiple ways to see video and tape on guys. What is it coming, these new guys coming in that you maybe have only seen on video and you're going to see live and in living color for the first time? How do you develop and see for yourself how they actually play and how they react in situations?
A lot of people, video is great and everything, but it is a lot better to see it in person because sometimes people look worse or sometimes people look better on video, and it depends on who they're playing against on video. So to have them live and in person is always a lot better. And we have a couple kids from out of the country coming in and stuff, so it's actually harder to get video on those kind of kids. So when you're watching them, you're just looking for little details and stuff that they do that you can see fitting in your structure. Like we like to play really fast, so if you can see a kid making fast decisions and always moving the puck quick and moving himself quick, that's going to be a huge bonus for us. Or if you see a kid with championship details, he's getting every single puck out or making little plays in small areas, blocking shots, stuff like that. That's kind of what we look for, especially on a weekend like this where a tryout setting can be kind of difficult for some players because you've never played with any of these guys before. So it's just seeing how they individually perform and their little details, and then how well they can adapt to playing with other people, kind of free will, if you will, because like I said, it is tough. I mean, some of these kids are meeting each other for the first time, so there's not really that chemistry. But you'd be surprised a lot of times at these tryouts, you throw 2 kids together who don't know each other. We could have a kid from the Netherlands and a kid from Canada play together, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, they're playing together this year because they do have that natural chemistry. So I'm definitely excited for the weekend, and I know Guy and Clint and my dad are as well, because like I said earlier, this is just everything finally coming together, and it seems like it's been such a long recruiting process, and I know it's been even longer for them because for me, I got back kind of mid to early summer, so I wasn't fully involved with it, and they kind of already had everyone recruited at that point. So I'm excited, and I know they're definitely excited to see everything pieced together.
So you mentioned having some young men from other countries. How do you expect your veteran guys that have played here before, gone through training camps, kind of know the ins and outs. How do you expect them to step up and help these new guys coming in and get kind of their feet wet?
Well, they know how everything goes here. They know the ropes and everything. So I expect them to be leaders and show everyone how we do it here and what our culture is all about. But also that is a big burden on them because I expect more out of the guys coming back because they do know. And if they're acting like idiots or whatever during a game, I'm going to be on them more than I would be on someone that's new because they don't know better. So our guys, I don't want to say it's an added pressure, but it is an added pressure. I want them to be the best players on the ice, and I want them to drive the pace of the game and be leaders on the bench. Because if they can't be leaders as second year guys, then we have that amount of bodies. Like maybe they don't make it this year, and that's something that all of our guys know going into it. We've had good conversations throughout the summer, and they know that they know what we're all about here and the culture that we've built over all these years. So they have a little bit of added pressure this weekend, but that's something that they've been around, so I expect them to handle pretty well.
So with this number of young men coming in, what are you guys thinking the level of compete and that gritty level is going to be with these guys?
I think it's going to be one of our best camps we've had in a long time because a lot of times you show up to camp and we try to keep it. In the past, we've tried to keep it at 2 teams and to keep it competitive. But I think once a couple guys, including returners, get here and see there's 3 teams and there's a lot of good hockey players here, that it's going to be like, okay, well, maybe I need to bring it a little bit more than I had planned on. And that comfort level kind of leaves a little bit, where a lot of times you'll see at the beginning of the games. And it's one of my pet peeves. And I know a lot of coaches think the same thing, is that you see all your guys that are returners, they're all joking and laughing, whether on opposite teams or on the same teams. I think that's going to be out the door really quick because there's going to be a high intensity level this weekend. So I'm expecting it to be real physical, real fast, and some great hockey this weekend. I'm expecting a lot of good games.
So again, training camp coming up this weekend. How long is the decision process with you and your dad and Guy and Clint? You guys get down and you sit down and you discuss and go over things detail by detail. How long of a process do you think that's going to be?
Hopefully, I mean, with that amount of minds, sometimes you come in and we talk after every single game. And this year, I think we have like an hour in between each game. So you can break down each game and each player in the game. And there's plenty of time for that. And a lot of times, there is some standout kids that you say, okay, what do you think about Billy? And everyone's like, he's a stud. Boom. So you're done with that kid. Circle him. He's on the team. But there is going to be some that it's like, okay, well, this kid does this well and this well, but this kid brings this intangible and that intangible. So there's going to be a lot of discussions. And I think, having that hour in between games this weekend is going to be huge. I'm sure we'll use the full hour to talk about it. But at the end of the weekend, probably at the end of Saturday, I would assume we're going to be there for quite a bit of time. I think the game will get over about 6:37 range. I'm not sure. And we'll probably be there till about 10 discussing everything so we can have it all kind of figured out and have our all-star list already posted and everything like that. And then just so when you're going into the all-star game, you do have a good idea, because there's a lot of people obviously from out of town. So you'd like to get them on the road Sunday as fast as possible. But at the end of the day, you can't rush perfection. And that's something you got to do if you want to win a championship, is put together a perfect puzzle. And that's what we're looking to do this weekend. So if it takes a little extra time on Sunday and people got to wait around, so be it. It is what it is. I'm sure they'll understand at the end of the year if they're lifting a trophy.
So you and I kind of scratch the surface on this a little bit. My first season in the Mustangs broadcast booth, COVID season, kind of strange things going on with that. Last season, you were away in El Paso, and training camp was kind of like you said, you probably get 25, 30 young men coming in. And then this season, how does it feel as a coach to see that there is this amount of kids that want to come and be part of this Mustangs organization?
I think it speaks volumes about our organization as a whole. A lot of these kids reached out to us. Granted, we did tender them and stuff, but they reached out to us before we had reached out to them, and that gave us the kind of the lead in to go watch them and stuff like that. And just what has been built here in Peoria makes it such a good dynamic to come play for. And I think the structure and everything of the whole organization as a whole, not just on the hockey side, is second to none. I mean, it's completely professional, and the way we run it, I think is elite level. And I would say it's top notch as a pro level as well. So it means a lot, and just to see that amount of kids willing to come play for the Peoria Mustangs, for me personally, being here for as long as I have, as a little guy, it's awesome. So I'm definitely, this weekend is going to be awesome. I'm excited, and I know everyone else is as well. And it's probably one of our first tryouts in a while that we have to really get serious and focus on every single player, because there's going to be some tough decisions made this weekend, and there's going to be some people that obviously have to go home, and they're good hockey players. I don't think there's anyone here that we don't think has a chance to make our team.
So, Mustangs fans, that being said, we're going to wrap up this special training camp edition of Around the Stable. You got anything you need to do on Saturday? You want to come out and see some hockey? Either do it early in the morning or do it out late in the afternoon, because this is the schedule for this weekend, posted right here, and it will be on social media platforms as well. Mustangs fans, this has been Around the Stable. Blake, thank you for taking the time to join us in this very busy, hectic week.
Absolutely, Josh. Looking forward to seeing you this weekend.